What's going on, YouTube? Just wanted to shoot a quick video, give y'all a quick rundown of what I've been up to, and just want to say I appreciate everyone's feedback. I saw some comments about holding the phone sideways on like landscape. Someone trying to do that more. I know, I'm not trying to make a living off YouTube or nothing like that, but I know I watch a lot of YouTube, so I definitely appreciate little things like that. And then I just want to try and figure out how to make edits and put some thumbnails together. I think that really helps out with viewership. So that's kind of my on my to-do list, in between doing everything else. So, but anyway, just wanted to give you all a quick update. I did get some things in the mail. I got this 3M silicone paste. It's dielectric grease. This is the same stuff they sell you for like spark plug boots at like Advanced Auto Parts. You go through the checkout line and they oh, do you want some silicone? And it's like, okay, great. Extra 75 cents. You can see it down in there. Funny enough, when I worked at O'Reilly's, they would, management would tell you like, make sure you sell the whole job. Anyway, that dielectric grease is part of it. Anyway, this is the e38 pedal box. I did get my clutch master in, so that's good news. You can see the barb pointing up there. That's going to go back to the reservoir, and this just gets filled with brake fluid. There is no clutch fluid that I'm aware of. And then back here I got it's a clip-in style fitting, and then that goes to an AN line, and that's going to get routed down to the T56 trans in the hydraulic throwout bearing. So you can see how it kind of mounts up. It's just basically these 4 bolts on the back end. I got the old one in here. I'll show you. That's my interior, by the way. Anyway, you can kind of see it up under here. But the big thing is, that's a parking brake cable, and that gets routed up to the hand. I don't have like a center console parking brake. I have this small pedal and then a hand release up top. So I'm gonna have to figure that out, because the new pedal box doesn't have that. And then this brake arm is a little bit different. And the throttle control is actually connected to this bracket, and this new pedal box doesn't have that. So I thought about just trying to overlay the two and just mount this pedal box over the top and remove this middle brake, and then just try and adapt the new brake pedal to this existing plate, because I don't want to give up my parking brake. It's going to be a manual, so I'm going to need that. And I don't want to have to refabricate the throttle or the gas pedal, which you can see I took off from just chilling on the floor. It's just a lever right now. And then here's the e38 for comparison. So you can see it's pretty different, but it still has that mounting plate with the 4 screws in the back, which you can kind of see 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 are up there. So just something to think about when you guys are looking to do this swap. Something to work out. I haven't really figured that out yet. I haven't gotten that far, but that's on my to-do list. So working on that, but that came in today, so that's good news. I'm going to end up returning these ICT billet plates. As much as I like them, I just don't think it's the right choice for me. I'm going to roll with those guys and pick up a cheap welder from Harbor Freight or something. I did get the these are pressure plate bolts, I believe, or flywheel bolts rather. 6 of those. These are going to go in the back of the crank. You'll see them right here. Those bolts are going to go in here. That's where your pilot bushing goes. So I got some ARP bolts. I also got bolts for my pressure plate, so now I can get that mounted up. So I can basically get my clutch system mounted up. So gonna get working on that. I will have to take the motor off the stand to do it, but Shouldn't be a big deal. Like I said, I got a lift plate for the motor, so I'll just hook up the hoist, lift the motor up, and then get working on the I'll get working on the clutch and all that. You guys can see my manifold. I put that on there. It is 102 millimeters. Pretty nice piece. Not cheap, but you know, as far as intakes go, I thought it was about run of the mill. I think it was about 600, which is probably, you know, if you go out and look for an aftermarket intake, you know, you can go. The Trailblazer SS intake, I think, is 300 or 400. A lot of guys will move up to the 90, I think 91 or 92 millimeter, and this is 102 millimeter. And my tune will be speed density, so I won't have a mass airflow sensor. The air fuel will be calculated based off the readings from the wideband, the intake air temperature, and then the RPM maybe. So based on those three things, you can calculate volumetric or mass flow rate. Mass flow rate is density times the area of the opening times the velocity of the fluid moving. So if you know those three variables, you can calculate mass flow of air, and that's all the motor cares about, and then it'll calculate fuel from there. But you can check it out in here. You can see it's got some guys used to call them velocity stacks. I call them trumpets. You see them down in there. But reason I had this out is I was looking at picking up a throttle cable for this guy, so I wanted to make sure it had the correct mount, and it does. So I'm gonna pick that up. I picked it up at 27 bucks, so that should be on its way. Other thing, it's got these manifold ports right here on the bottom. I'm gonna have to tie into those, and you know, the Terminator X comes with a map sensor at 1 bar, so I will have to tie into that so we can get manifold pressure. So got that going on. What else did I do? I got the drive shaft out, and I'll tell you, that was a total bear. This is the end for the differential, and this is a constant velocity joint. You can see it's kind of moving around in there, and basically how it works is this is a ring, and this is like an intersection, and there's ball bearings in between here, and it lets the drive shaft transfer power and flex at the same time, similar to like your axles on your Honda or whatever. So not overly complicated, but mine was a little rusted in there. I don't know if you can see on the flange, it got a little crusty, but got it out. I did have to heat it up, but it did come out. And on the other end, this was that rubber flex disc I was telling you about. So you can see it, it's literally a hard chunk of rubber. And I went after the bolts on the transmission side. So these connect to the drive shaft side, these connect to the transmission side. And when you're under there, you'll be able to slip a 21 millimeter wrench up to the left of the transmission. There's a little opening. You just get the nut on the back side, use your impact on the front, it should pop right out. That's what mine did anyway. So just check that out. I'll show you underneath here. Yeah. So hopefully you guys can, oh, there you go. Hopefully you can see that's a drive shaft. I mean, I'm sorry, the rear diff. Not a whole lot going on back there, but just 6 bolts. I can't remember the size. And then you can see the trans side. Let me get this light turned around. There you go. But you can see the trans side, nothing crazy. I'm gonna get ready to unbolt that guy. Hopefully tomorrow or the next day. And then last thing I got done is I got a lot of this wiring harness off of the motor. So I tried to label as much as I could, just in case, you know, you don't know what you need and what you don't need until you need it, and then that's when it's a problem. So this wiring harness goes to the ECM or DME or whatever you want to call it, and then goes through this big loom out to this mess, and this just sits on top of the injectors right here and controls the coil packs. And it's got a bunch of sensors hanging out, but I got that free, so that's good news. I unbolted the compressor hose, so that's free, and then I cut out the let me grab a flashlight, guys. There's two radiator hoses in the back here, and you can see I just cut them. Anyway, hopefully you saw that. Fuel rail, that goes, that's this guy right here, that line. And then this is a return style system. So some cars you have basically the fuel makes its route from the tank up to the fuel rail back to the tank. And the good thing about that is you always have cold fuel coming up to the rail. So a lot of older vehicles, you know, I wouldn't say older, but initially when they first started doing fuel injection, if the pressure is not high enough, you'll get something called vapor lock. And what that means is when you would drive your car to the supermarket, stop your car, shut it off, the fuel in the rail would boil because it's not under the correct pressure. So you raise the pressure, you raise the boiling point, or you raise the temperature associated with the boiling point, and then your car starts right up because it has liquid fuel in the rail. So this has a return style fuel rail. I think for the LS, I will have to increase the pressure. I think this motor runs at 50 pounds per square inch, and the LS likes to see 60. So that's something I'm gonna have to deal with. But this motor is about ready to come out. I've got it jacked up a little bit. Let me see if I lower it down, if it drops. Yeah, so it's already loose, but I don't know if you guys, it is moving. Anyway, you have to take my word for it. But yeah, that's all I had going on, guys. I hope everyone had a good Monday, good Tuesday, and yeah, we'll just keep trying to crank out content for you guys, and you know, learn as I go, basically. So I guess that's it for now, and then we'll talk soon.